One of the biggest lies we're told when we're growing up is that you're supposed to find a job you love. Not just a job you can tolerate, not something that pays well and gives you a good life. You're supposed to find your passion, something that makes you excited to wake up every Monday morning and somehow never feels like work. And if you haven't found that yet, it can almost feel like you're doing life wrong. But really, I think that idea is complete bullshit. When I was a kid, adults always asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? Back then, everyone always answered that was something cool. A firefighter, a professional athlete, doctor, astronaut. Nobody at 8 years old says, I want a stable job with decent health insurance, coworkers I can tolerate, and enough money left over to enjoy my hobbies. But the older I get, the more I realize that actually sounds pretty damn good. Somewhere along the way, we got obsessed with this idea that everybody needs to find their dream job. Like there's one perfect career out there where you wake up excited every morning, love everything you do, make good money, and somehow it never feels like work. For some people, maybe that exists, but I don't think everybody needs that and honestly can obtain that. Sometimes a job can just be a job. A lot of the pressure comes from how much we tie our jobs to who we are. Think about meeting somebody for the first time. One of the first questions people ask is, what do you do? Obviously they mean what you do for work, but it's kind of strange when you think about it. You can build cars on the weekends, fish, play guitar, make videos, travel. You could have all these interests and experiences, but when someone asks you what you do, your answer is usually whatever company sends you a paycheck every 2 weeks. Because of that, it feels like our careers have to mean something. They can't just pay the bills. They're supposed to fulfill us, give us a purpose, and make us excited to get out of bed Monday morning and somehow represent who we are as a person. If your job doesn't do all that, it can start to feel like you picked the wrong path. But what if your job is just the thing that allows you to do everything else you enjoy? Maybe you don't love going to work every morning, but you also don't hate it. Pay is decent, you get along with the people you work with, and have some stability. Clock out, go home, and don't think about the place until the next day. That honestly sounds pretty good setup to me. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a job that simply supports the life you actually care about doing outside of work. I think the internet has made this whole dream job thing worse too. You constantly hear stuff online like, if you love what you do, you'll never work in a day in your life. You see somebody online who quit their regular job, started a business, moved somewhere cool, and now apparently wakes up every day living their passion. Those stories are great, and I'm not hating those people at all. They're not the only way to live. Nobody is uploading a video titled, I've worked the same decent job for 8 years and everything is fine, even though that probably describes way more people. There's nothing exciting about stability, so nobody really talks about it. A steady paycheck sounds boring until you don't have one. Having the same schedule every week sounds boring until you're working random hours all the time. A job that lets you forget about work as soon as you leave might not sound impressive, but there are plenty of people who would love to have that. There's also something people don't talk about enough when they tell you to turn your passion into your career. Sometimes making money from something you love can make you enjoy it a lot less. And for me, it was photography. I went out, took pictures whenever I wanted, shoot whatever interests me, and edited those pictures, obviously. But then I made it my full-time job. Now I had clients, deadlines, emails, revisions, invoices, and worst of all, people telling me they don't like the photos that I thought were the best ones. The thing that I used to do to get away from work suddenly became work. That doesn't mean you really shouldn't make a career out of something you love. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But I think there's something nice about keeping certain parts of your life separate from your job. You can love cars without working on cars 8 hours a day. You can love gaming without trying to become a streamer. You can love cooking without opening a restaurant. You can enjoy making videos without needing to pay your rent. We've gotten really weird about hobbies in general. If you get good at something, eventually someone tells you that you should start selling it, make a business out of it, or figure out how to make money from it. Why does everything have to become a side hustle? Why can't you just get good at something because you enjoy doing it? Not everything needs to be productive. Some of the best parts of life are completely unproductive. Hanging out in the garage with your friends isn't productive. Going on a random drive isn't productive. Playing games for 3 hours isn't productive. But that's usually the stuff that you end up remembering. Nobody looks back in 10 years and says, man, I really miss answering emails in 2016. When people talk about the good old days, they're usually talking about everything that happened around work. The people they were with, the places they went, the stupid things they did, hobbies they had, and the amount of free time they used to have. That's the stuff that makes up your life. Obviously, work matters. We spend a ridiculous amount of our time doing it. I'm not saying you should absolutely stay at a job you hate for the next 40 years. If you wake up every morning miserable because of where you work, then yeah, you should probably start looking for something different. But I think there's a huge difference between saying, I hate my job, and saying, my job isn't a passion. Your job doesn't have to be your passion. Maybe it's something you're good at. Maybe you find parts of it interesting. Maybe you like your coworkers, pay is good. Maybe it gives you enough free time and money to do the things you actually care about. Maybe that's enough. The whole dream job idea can also make you constantly feel like you're settling. You get a decent job, but you wonder if there's something better. You finally get comfortable, and then you start thinking being comfortable must mean you're not pushing yourself enough. You see someone online doing something exciting, and suddenly your normal life starts looking boring. But there's always going to be another job. There's always going to be somebody making more money. There's always going to be somebody doing something that looks cooler than what you're doing. If you spend your whole life comparing your career to everybody else's, you're probably never going to feel like you found the right one. At some point, I think the better question stops being, what's my dream job? And becomes, what kind of life do I actually want? Maybe you start a company and work 70 hours a week because you genuinely enjoy doing it. That's fine. Maybe you want a normal job, a house you like, a couple cars in the garage, enough money to go to a trip every now and again, and enough free time to hang with people you care about. That's fine too. Your career doesn't have to be the main highlight of your life. It can be one part of it. And maybe your dream job isn't really a job at all. Maybe the dream is just finding something that pays for the life you actually want to live and then going home.